I had my first boyfriend when I was 17. His name was Michael, and he was sort of the complete opposite of me. While I was working hard to get good grades, he didn't care about school at all. He was pretty smart though, much smarter than me. Whenever I was with him, he made me feel safe. Like there was one time when we were in a trade station late at night, and two bad-looking guys came over to us. I was so scared, but Michael stayed cool and he just talked to them until they were all laughing. I never saw him nervous or afraid. He was always charming and confident. That's why so many girls in my school were after him. When I finally invited him over for dinner with my parents, I was really nervous because I knew he wasn't the kind of guy my parents would like. I asked Michael to behave and be polite, but when he arrived he was making jokes and just having fun like always. I suppose he was just being himself, and he did make me and my mom laugh a lot. I could tell my dad felt disrespected though. He started to ask questions like, "How's school going? Do you have any plans for the future?" Michael didn't even try to impress my dad. He said he planned on becoming a rock star. We all kinda knew he was joking, but Dad didn't find it funny. At the same time, he was very charming with Mom and complimented her a ton. Mom really liked him, and that made Dad even angrier. I know it sounds weird, but the more Michael acted like a bad boy, the more I was attracted to him. When he left, my dad turned to me and said he forbade me to ever see him again. I thought he was just saying it in the heat of the moment, so I didn't think much about it. But when I tried to go out and meet Michael the next day, Dad locked the door and said I wasn't allowed to go out after school until I turned 18. He said I had to focus on my studies, not go out with some boy. My 18th birthday was still 6 months away. It was so unfair. I hadn't done anything wrong, so I decided to sneak out anyway. After I left, I sent Dad a text to tell him I'd be back at 8 and not to worry. My date with Michael was fun, and he was really understanding when I said I had to go home, but I was really nervous when I came back home. Dad was already waiting for me, and I was expecting him to yell at me, but to my surprise, he apologized. He said he'd been wrong to try to ban me from seeing Michael, and I was old enough to decide for myself who I dated. He finished by warning me to be careful, though. I hugged him and told him he was the best dad in the world. Now, I knew Dad was okay with me seeing Michael, so we carried on dating. But over the next few months, I started to notice things I just couldn't accept. For example, one time he laughed when he saw a homeless person slip on ice. Another time we accidentally left a restaurant without paying. I knew the waitress would have to pay for our food out of her own money, but he refused to go back and pay, saying we deserved a free meal. So I had to go back and do it for him. The most irresponsible thing he did, though, was to get a dog, even though he didn't have enough time to walk him or even enough money to buy him proper dog food. Instead, he just threw the dog out in the yard to walk himself and fed him scraps of his own food. The poor dog was so skinny you could see his ribs. That's when I realized that Michael was sort of a jerk. He was irresponsible and didn't seem to care about other people or animals. I finally decided to break up with him. Dad was right. I deserved better. Luckily, there was no big fight. Michael seemed a bit surprised, but didn't seem to mind either. So I asked if I could adopt his dog. To my relief, he said yes. So even though I don't have a boyfriend anymore, our family has a new member, and Dad also seems quite happy to have me back.